Good evening, everyone. Today, I want to take you on a journey, one that begins with a single step, but ends with a moment that defines your very essence. This is the story of perseverance, courage, and transformation. It's the story of the last step, the step that changes everything. Life is a journey filled with challenges, uncertainties, and opportunities. As we move along its path, there are times when the road seems endless, the mountains insurmountable, and the rivers too wide to cross. It is in these moments of struggle and doubt that we often forget something fundamental. Success is not about the first step, nor the second, nor even the 1,000th. Success is about the last step, the one you take when every fiber of your being wants to quit, the one that defines who you are and what you stand for. Today, I want you to reflect on this. What is your last step? No one can take that step for you. This is what you do now to continue the process we have begun. Making progress every time you can, in every circumstance where the compulsion might make you not feel compelled to move. The power of beginning. Let us start at the beginning. Every journey, no matter how daunting, begins with a single step. But that first step often comes with fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. It's easy to let that fear paralyze you, but let me remind you, the first step doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to happen. Think about the great explorers who ventured into uncharted territories. They didn't have all the answers, they didn't know what lay ahead. But they had courage, and they understood that the first step was not just a choice, it was a necessity. But here's the thing, the first step is never the hardest. It is the steps that follow, the steps through pain, through failure, through rejection, that test your character. And it is those steps that lead you closer to the last step. The middle of the journey. Now let's talk about the middle of the journey. This is where most people give up. This is where fatigue sets in, doubts creep up, and the temptation to quit becomes overwhelming. Imagine climbing a mountain. At the base, you're full of energy and excitement. But as you climb higher, the air gets thinner, the terrain rougher, and your legs heavier. You look back and think, I've come so far. Is this enough? You look up and think, the summit is so far away. Can I make it? The middle of the journey is where the voice of fear becomes loudest. It tells you that you're not good enough, that you'll fail, that it's not worth it. But here's what you must remember. Fear is a liar. It exaggerates your weaknesses and underestimates your strengths. When you're in the middle of the journey, focus on why you started. Remember the dreams that set your heart on fire. And, most importantly, take it one step at a time. You don't have to see the whole staircase. You just need to focus on the next step. The role of failure. Failure is an inevitable part of every journey. It's not a question of if you will fail, but when and how. And when failure comes, it can be devastating. It can make you question your abilities, your purpose, and your dreams. But here's the truth, failure is not the opposite of success, it is a part of it. Every successful person you admire has faced failure. The difference is that they didn't let failure define them. They learned from it, grew from it, and used it as fuel to keep going. Thomas Edison once said, I have not failed, I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work. What if he had given up after the 9,999th attempt? What if he had decided that the journey wasn't worth it? Your failures are not dead ends, they are detours. They are opportunities to refine your approach, to build resilience, and to prepare for the final stretch of the journey. The final challenge. And now we come to the last step, the moment of truth. This is the step that stands between you and your dreams. But here's the thing. The last step is often the hardest. It's the one that demands everything you have, and more. Why is the last step so difficult? Because by the time you reach it, you're exhausted. You've faced countless obstacles, endured endless doubts, and fought through unimaginable pain. You're tempted to settle for almost. You think, maybe this is good enough. Maybe I don't need to take that final step. But deep down, you know the truth. You know that the last step is not just about crossing the finish line. It's about becoming the person you were meant to be. Let me tell you a story. There was once a marathon runner who had trained for years to compete in the Olympics. On the day of the race, she faced every obstacle imaginable: extreme heat, dehydration, and a fall that left her bleeding. By the time she reached the final stretch, she was barely able to stand. The crowd watched in silence, wondering if she would give up. But she didn't. Step by painful step, she pushed forward until she crossed the finish line. When asked how she found the strength to keep going, she said, "I didn't come this far to only come this far." Your last step. So what is your last step? What is the goal, the dream, the mission that you've been working toward? Whatever it is, I want you to know that you are capable of achieving it, but it won't be easy. The last step never is. A step backwards. Take a deep breath and embrace it. It will require courage, the courage to face your fears, to silence the doubters, and to believe in yourself even when no one else does. It will require courage, the courage to face your fears, to silence the doubters, and to believe in yourself even when no one else does. It will require perseverance, the perseverance to keep going when the road gets tough, when the nights are long, and when the results are slow to come. And it will require faith, the faith to trust the process, to believe that your efforts will pay off, and to know that every step you've taken has prepared you for this moment. Vision for the future. The vision for the future. Imagine this. You take the last step. You cross the finish line. You achieve the dream that once seemed impossible. How does it feel? What does it look like? Who is there to celebrate with you? Now, hold on to that vision. Let it be your guiding light. Let it remind you that the struggle is worth it, that the pain is temporary, and that the rewards are infinite. Lastly, but remember this, the journey doesn't end with the last step. It is only the beginning of a new chapter. Each summit you reach opens the door to new mountains, new challenges, and new opportunities to grow. Conclusion. As I stand here today, I want to leave you with this thought. Life is not about avoiding challenges, it is about embracing them. It is about finding the strength to take that first step, the resilience to keep going through the middle, and the courage to take the last step. You have everything you need to succeed. The journey may be long, the road may be tough, but the destination is worth it. So when you find yourself standing on the edge of your dreams, when you feel the weight of the journey on your shoulders, and when you're tempted to give up, remember this: the last step is the most important step of all. Thank you.